Good morning students, welcome back to our session. In previous videos, I started lesson 5, that is sound lesson. In that, just once again I will repeat the main points what we discussed in earlier videos, in the previous videos. Sound has a vibrating body produces a sound, and sound has energy. Sound travels in different mediums like liquids, solids and gases. For the propagation of sound, it requires a material medium. That medium is air, and sound does not travel through vacuum. Sound does not travel through vacuum. And next one is we discussed about the structure of a voice box at the larynx. And next, last point we discussed is the structure of a human eye. Functioning of ear. Functioning of ear. Now, in this video, I'm going to explain about the characteristics of sound. In this video, I'm going to explain about the characteristics of sound. Sound has different characteristics, that is loudness, feebleness and amplitude. Generally, we can hear different kinds of sounds. In that, some sounds are loud and some sounds are feeble. Feeble means low sounds. Can you give examples of loud sound? For example, marriage time, that drums, the sound produced by that drums is very loud. Or otherwise, in the textbook, it is given one example. In the prayer assembly time, the sound produced by the drums, school assembly time, so that also very loud. And the horns, the vehicles horns, that sound also it is very loud. So these are all the different kinds of loud soundness. And what are the feeble sounds? When we talk, when we chit chat, so the sound produced by us is feeble. Okay. Now the question is, here a body produces sometimes loud sound and sometimes feeble sound. See, for example, humans, sometimes if we get angry, we will shout very loudly, and sometimes we'll talk very pleasantly or feeble sound. We can produce feeble sound. So, is there any relation between the intensity of sound? Intensity of sound means sometimes loud and sometimes feeble sound. So that we will generally, for measuring the distances, we'll use meters, centimeters, kilometers, like that. To find out the distance, we'll use the units like that. So here, to compare the sound, which sound is loud, which sound is to find out, we'll use the word as intensity of sound. So to find out the intensity, compare that sounds, that we'll call it as intensity of sound. So the intensity of sound produced by a body and the vibrations of the body. Once again, I'm repeating. Is there any relation between intensity of the sound and the intensity of the sound and the vibrations produced by the body? For example, if you take a body, it vibrates for example 30 times. For example 30 times, and it produces one sound. So when it vibrates less number of times, the sound produced by the body is more or less. Suppose the same body, if it vibrates more number of times, then the sound produced by body is loud or feeble. So that relation we will find out now by through lab activity. Once again, now we are going to discuss about one lab activity. Lab activity 5, the relation between the intensity of sound and the sound produced by a vibrating body. Here you see lab activity 5, to know the relation between the intensity of sound produced by a body and the vibrations of the body. If your body vibrates less number of times and if your body vibrates more number of times, the sound produced by your body is there any difference, the sound produced by your body or not? That we are going to discuss in this lab activity. For this, what are the materials required? Here we require one table and we require one scale. Either it is a metal scale or plastic scale or hacksaw blades are there. So you can take any one, and you take one brick, a heavy brick. So these three materials are required. Now, procedure. How to do this lab activity? First, on this table, on this surface of the table, you take any scale, either metal scale, plastic scale or whatever may be. Better you take a metal scale only. If you take the plastic scale, sometimes it may break. So better you take the metal scale and place it on the surface of this table. At the end of that table, you place this scale and you have to place 10 centimeters should be on the surface of this table. Actually, you should take the scale of length 30 centimeters, and in that 30 centimeters, 10 centimeters should be on the surface of this table, and on that 10 centimeters, you have to place a heavy brick on that 10 centimeters. So you should put some weight on that scale without disturbing the position of this scale. So you put some weight. Okay, now after arranging this, initially the scale is at rest position. Initially the scale is at rest position. Then slowly, gently, just you pull down. When you pull down, it starts vibrating. It starts vibrating. So just you pull down. When you pull down, then gently if you pull down, the scale start vibrating. The scale start vibrating. It goes down and goes up. It goes down and goes up. Like this, it start vibrating. And finally it comes to rest position. Like this, it start vibrating, and after some time it comes to rest position. So when the scale is vibrating, just you count the number of vibrations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that you count it. Okay. Now here you see the position of the scale where you placed. From that, when you pull down or pull up, whatever may be, when you apply the force on the scale, it starts vibrating. It starts vibrating from to and fro positions of to and fro, like this, going down and reaching to the mean position, again going up, again coming to this mean position. So this position of the scale is known as mean position. The rest position of the scale is known as mean position. From that, the body starts, or the scale start vibrating. So how does that scale vibrates? Going down, to and fro, to and fro. So if you count one complete to and fro motion of your vibrating body is known as one vibration. So like that, you count how many number of vibrations produced by this scale, you count it. Okay. Now here one more point we have to discuss is what is that? Here 2 points we discussed: mean position and vibration. So here what is mean position? The initial position of the blade, or scale at rest along the surface of the table is called mean position. So at what position the scale is at rest, from that it starts vibrating. So that position is known as mean position. Okay, and vibration also I explained. Now coming to when it vibrates, the maximum displacement of a vibrating body. Here you see, initially the body vibrates very large distance from here to here, But after, when you come to here, it vibrates very less, like this only, like this. Initially the body vibrates like this, means maximum displacement from the mean position to the maximum displacement, it moves, the body moves. So the maximum displacement of your vibrating body is known as amplitude. So like this, when it is vibrating, what happening, we will get the amplitude is gradually decreasing. We will get the amplitude of your body is gradually, some first time like this, next time like this. So gradually it is decreasing and initially it comes to rest. So the maximum displacement of your vibrating body is known as amplitude. Here 3 points we have to discuss. What is vibration and what is mean position and what is an amplitude. Mean position means the position of the scale is at rest, initially at rest. From it starts vibrating. So before going to where is that, sorry, at rest along the surface of the table is known as mean position. From the mean, it starts vibration from to and fro motions. So one to and fro motion of your vibrating body is known as, so of your body is known as one vibration. And the maximum displacement of your vibrating body is known as amplitude. Okay. Now, we have to place 10 centimeters on the surface of the table and the remaining 20 centimeters in the air. Then, in that air part, just you have to apply a force gently. Then the scale start vibrating to and fro motions like this. Okay. Then you count the vibrations and these vibrations you have to write it in a tabular form. Repeat the same activity 2-3 times. Repeat the same activity 2-3 times. First, initially you apply the less force, small force. Gently just you pull down and you find out how many number of it. Actually, it is very difficult to count when the scale is vibrating. So try. Then write it. For example, when you apply a small amount of force, then it vibrates, the scale vibrates number of, suppose 50 times. Okay. Then you hear the sound produced by the body. When it vibrates 50 number of times, then it produces sound. Whether the sound produced by the body is loud or feeble, just you listen, leave it. Next time, again, you have to apply a large amount of force on the scale, means with the force, greater force you pull down, means then it vibrates, it starts vibrating with a greater force like this. When your force is less, the scale vibrates like this. When you apply more force, then the scale start vibrating with the greater force and the amplitude is also greater. And the amplitude is also, here amplitude is less and here amplitude is greater. So with the greater amplitude, the scale start vibrating, and in this condition, just you count the number of vibrations of a scale and note down. So repeat 2-3 times the same and finally note the values and write here. When the force is less, then just we'll take, for example, it vibrates 50 number of times. When it vibrates 50 number of times, the sound produced by this scale is less. Suppose with the greater force, when you pull down this scale, then the scale vibrates 90 times. 90 times and the sound produced by that is more. So here when you pull, means when you vibrate the scale gently, it produces feeble sound. When you vibrate the scale with a greater force, it vibrates more sound. It vibrates more number of times and it produces loud sound. So here from this we can conclude If your body vibrates more number of times, the sound produced by the body is loud. Actually here the sound, the vibrations we have to count within a second. In your particular time we have to count. In your particular time, for example 1 second, how many number of vibrations it is making, that we have to count. So in that time, so small amount of force and large amount of force. If the number of times, less number of times the sound produced is less, more number of times vibrating and it produces more sound. So this is the conclusion. So what is the conclusion? When we applied a small amount of force, the body makes less number of vibrations with the small amplitude. With the small amplitude, with the greater force, with the greater large amplitude. Okay, this is the conclusion, and this is about the lab activity 5. And one more lab activity we have. I will explain the another video.